Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah.
And I'm Henry, your co-host. We're so excited to have you with us today. If you're learning English and feel stuck memorizing words and grammar, but still struggle to speak, this episode is just for you.
That's right. Today's topic is something a lot of learners need to hear. Stop memorizing, start speaking.
Exactly. Too many people spend months, even years, trying to memorize vocabulary lists, grammar rules, and textbook sentences. But when it's time to actually speak English, they freeze.
Have you ever felt that way? Like you know the words in your head, but they just don't come out when you're talking?
You're not alone. It's super common. And the good news is, there's a better way. In this episode, we're going to talk about why memorizing isn't enough, and how you can switch your focus to real speaking practice, even if you don't live in an English-speaking country.
We'll also give you some simple daily speaking tips, practical tools, and even a fun challenge you can start today to boost your confidence.
So grab your notebook, or don't, because today we're talking less about notes and more about talking.
Let's dive in. So, Henry, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Memorization. A lot of English learners spend hours every day memorizing vocabulary, grammar rules, and even whole sentences. But when it comes to actual conversation, they still freeze up. Why do you think that happens?
I think it's because memorization creates a sort of wall between knowing a word and actually using it. You see, our brain stores these facts, but without context or active use, they remain like isolated data points. When you try to speak, instead of recalling a fluent sentence, it's as if you're searching for a single word in a huge dictionary, and that delay can really disrupt the flow.
That makes a lot of sense. When learners focus on memorizing lists instead of practicing conversation, they miss out on the nuances of how words connect naturally. For instance, you might know 100 words for happy, but if you can't string them together in a conversation, then it doesn't really help you communicate effectively.
Absolutely. And then there's the added pressure of grammar rules. Many learners worry that unless every sentence is perfectly structured, they shouldn't speak at all. But this fear can actually prevent them from speaking altogether. It's like being paralyzed by the perfectionist mindset.
Right. And let's not forget that speaking a language is as much about intuition and context as it is about rules. It's one thing to know a rule on paper. It's another to apply it when you're in a real conversation with a native speaker. A lot of times, this overemphasis on memorization leads to anxiety. You might know exactly what to say when you're alone studying, but then the pressure of a conversation makes that knowledge inaccessible.
I've seen it time and time again. Learners may prepare by memorizing dialogues from textbooks, yet when they're asked a spontaneous question during a practice session, they struggle to respond. This kind of situation only reinforces the idea that memorization isn't translating to practical speaking ability.
And there's also the issue of natural language evolution. Real conversations include slang, colloquialisms, and even mistakes that people naturally make. If you're relying entirely on memorized content, you might find yourself at a loss when the conversation deviates from your textbook script.
Exactly. Real-life conversations are dynamic and unpredictable. Relying on memorized phrases doesn't prepare you for that spontaneity. Instead, it's more beneficial to engage in active speaking exercises where you learn to think in English. Even if you make mistakes at first, every error is a learning opportunity. It's like training a muscle. You build fluency by exercising your speaking ability rather than by just reading about it.
That's a great analogy, Henry. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. You can read all the manuals in the world, but unless you get out there and practice riding, you're not going to get any better. And just like bike riding, speaking English gets easier and more natural the more you do it.
It really underscores the idea that language learning is about doing, not just knowing. When you try to force memorization without context, you miss the opportunity to truly internalize the language. You may remember vocabulary, but without conversation practice, you don't get comfortable with spontaneous dialogue.
I completely agree. So, if you're a learner and you find yourself stuck in endless cycles of memorizing without speaking, remember, it's okay to make mistakes. Embrace the challenge of using the language in real time, and you'll build both confidence and fluency.
Exactly, Sarah. And that's what today's episode is all about. Shifting the focus from rote memorization to active, confident speaking. We're here to help you break down those barriers and start using English in the way that it's meant to be used, as a living, breathing medium of communication.
Stay with us, everyone. Up next, we'll dive deeper into how speaking can truly unlock your fluency and share some practical tips that you can start using today. All right, let's get into the heart of it. Why is speaking so powerful when it comes to learning English?
Well, here's the truth. Fluency doesn't come from knowing about the language. It comes from using the language. You can study grammar and vocabulary all day, but until you actually start speaking, it's not going to stick the way you need it to.
Exactly. Speaking is active. It forces your brain to recall words quickly, form sentences on the spot, and express real thoughts. That's how you train your brain to think in English. And that's when fluency starts to grow.
You're totally right. It's like learning to swim. You can watch videos, read books, and learn all the techniques. But until you jump into the water, you'll never actually swim. Language works the same way. You need to jump in and speak.
And when you speak regularly, something really cool happens. Your brain starts to create connections between words, grammar, and meaning without you even realizing it. That's when English becomes more natural and automatic.
That's called muscle memory. Just like athletes or musicians train their muscles to react without thinking, speaking English trains your language muscles. The more you speak, the faster your brain and mouth start to work together.
And let's not forget the emotional side of it too. When learners speak more often, their confidence grows. They stop being afraid of mistakes and start focusing on communication. And that's a huge mindset shift.
Yes, because in the real world, people don't care if you make a little grammar mistake. They care about understanding what you're trying to say. Communication is the goal, not perfection.
And when you focus on speaking, your listening skills also improve. You become better at understanding how native speakers talk, how sentences flow, and even how pronunciation works. It's all connected.
Exactly. So if you're listening to this and you're still stuck in the memorization loop, here's the truth. You don't need to know everything to start speaking. You just need to start. Fluency is something you build by speaking, little by little, day by day.
And remember, you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be brave. Your words may not come out smoothly at first, but the more you speak, the better you get. It's that simple.
That's right. So instead of asking, "Do I know enough to speak?" try asking, "How can I use what I already know to express myself today?"
Beautifully said. Coming up next, we're going to talk about some of the common myths that stop learners from speaking and how to break free from them. So, Henry, now that we've talked about how important speaking is, let's tackle some of the biggest misconceptions learners have. Because a lot of people want to speak more, but certain beliefs are holding them back.
Oh, yeah. There are a few big ones. Let's start with this classic. I need to learn more words before I can speak. That one keeps so many learners stuck in study mode for months, even years.
Right. But here's the truth. You don't need thousands of words to start speaking. Even with just 300 to 500 basic words, you can have simple, clear conversations. And the amazing thing is, when you start speaking, you learn new words faster because you're using them in real situations.
Exactly. Here's another big misconception. I'll speak when my grammar is perfect. Let me just say, no one's grammar is perfect all the time, not even native speakers. Waiting for perfect grammar is like waiting for a perfect moment that never comes.
Yes. And sometimes overthinking grammar actually blocks communication. You end up pausing every few seconds trying to fix your sentence instead of just saying it. But language is for communication, not for getting 100% on a grammar test.
Totally. And here's another one we hear often. I'll make mistakes, and people will laugh at me. This fear of embarrassment is so common, but also so unnecessary.
Absolutely. Most native speakers are actually impressed when someone tries to speak their language. And guess what? Making mistakes is how you learn. It shows you're trying, and that's something to be proud of, not ashamed of.
Right. If you never make mistakes, it means you're not pushing yourself. And without that push, you won't grow. Fluency is built through mistakes, not by avoiding them.
So, to everyone listening, don't let these beliefs stop you. You can speak with the vocabulary you already have. You don't need perfect grammar, and it's okay to make mistakes. What matters is that you're using your English out loud every day.
Yes. And coming up next, we'll share some real-life examples of learners who made the switch from memorizing to speaking, and how it changed everything for them.
Okay, so let's bring this topic to life with some real stories. Because hearing about other learners who've gone through the same struggle can be so inspiring.
Absolutely. One story that always sticks with me is from a student I worked with named Armin. He had been studying English for over 4 years. Lots of vocabulary lists, grammar books, flashcards, the usual.
Sounds familiar.
Right? But here's the thing. When he had to speak during a job interview, he completely froze. Not because he didn't know the words, but because he wasn't used to speaking them. He told me afterward, "It's like the words were in my brain, but not in my mouth."
That's such a good way to put it. I've heard similar things from learners I've met. They've studied English for years but still feel nervous or stuck when they try to talk to someone.
Exactly. So with Arman, we changed his study routine. Instead of spending 90% of his time memorizing, he started doing short daily speaking sessions, just 10 to 15 minutes. He talked to himself, recorded voice messages, even had simple video calls with other learners.
And what happened?
In just 1 month, his speaking confidence improved a lot. He told me, "Now when I talk, the words come faster. I still make mistakes, but I don't freeze anymore." It wasn't about knowing more. It was about using what he already knew.
That's powerful. I remember another listener of our podcast, Maria from Brazil, wrote to us. She said she used to be obsessed with getting her grammar perfect. She avoided speaking because she thought people would judge her accent or errors.
Oh, that's so common.
But one day, she joined an online English conversation group. At first, she was nervous, but after a few weeks of speaking regularly, she noticed a huge change. She said, "Now I don't wait for the perfect sentence. I just speak, and I'm finally enjoying it."
Yes, and that's the magic of speaking. It builds real confidence. These learners didn't suddenly become fluent overnight, but they took action. They stopped hiding behind notebooks and started using their voices.
So true. And for everyone listening right now, If you've ever felt like Armin or Maria, nervous, frozen, unsure, we want you to know you're not alone, but you can change that by speaking a little every day.
So true. And for everyone listening right now, if you've ever felt like Armin or Maria, nervous, frozen, unsure, we want you to know you're not alone. But you can change that by speaking a little every day.
Coming up next, we'll give you some super practical tips you can use to start speaking more, even if you're learning on your own. Okay, now for the most important part, how can our listeners actually start speaking every day, even if they don't live in an English-speaking country or don't have a language partner?
Great question. And the good news is, there are so many simple ways to practice speaking, no matter where you are. The first tip I always give is talk to yourself.
Yes, it sounds a little strange at first, but it really works. You can describe what you're doing. I'm making coffee now, or I need to go to the store after this. This helps you turn your daily routine into English practice.
Exactly. It trains your brain to think in English, and the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. You can also talk about your day in English, like a little diary. Before bed, just say out loud, "Today, I went to the park. I saw some kids playing football." Things like that.
Another great method is to use voice recording. Open the Voice Memo app on your phone and record yourself speaking for 1 to 2 minutes. Pick a topic, like my favorite movie or what I did today. Then listen back.
Listening to yourself helps you notice pronunciation, rhythm, and areas where you want to improve. And over time, you'll hear your progress, which is super motivating.
Here's another fun idea: shadowing. That's when you listen to a native speaker, maybe from a podcast, video, or movie, and repeat what they say almost at the same time.
Shadowing is powerful. It improves your fluency, pronunciation, and intonation. And you don't have to do it for an hour. Even 5 minutes a day makes a difference.
Absolutely. And for learners who feel shy or don't want to speak in public, these solo activities are perfect. No pressure, no judgment, just you and your voice.
But if you do want to talk with others, there are tons of online options. You can join a language exchange app like Hello Talk, Tandem, or Speaky. These apps connect you with real people around the world who want to practice speaking too.
Or if you prefer a more structured environment, you can find a speaking partner or tutor on platforms like Italki or Preply. Even one 30-minute conversation a week can help a lot.
And don't forget about group speaking classes. Some of them are even free. You can find English speaking clubs on Facebook, Meetup, or through local libraries and cultural centers.
So let's quickly recap some of the best ways to practice speaking every day. Talk to yourself during your daily routine. Record short voice notes and listen to them. Shadow native speakers from videos or podcasts. Use language exchange apps to talk with real people. Work with a tutor or join group conversations.
You don't have to do all 5. Just pick 1 or 2 to start. The key is consistency. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day can lead to big changes over time.
Exactly. Start small, stay consistent, and speak even if it's not perfect. That's how real fluency is built.
And speaking of action, coming up next, we'll share some of our favorite tools and apps that can help you speak more and stay motivated on your learning journey. All right, now that we've talked about ways to practice speaking every day, let's share some of our favorite tools and resources that can make the process easier and even more fun.
And speaking of action, coming up next, we'll share some of our favorite tools and apps that can help you speak more and stay motivated on your learning journey. All right, now that we've talked about ways to practice speaking every day, let's share some of our favorite tools and resources that can make the process easier and even more fun.
Yep, It's a great way to speak with native speakers or fellow learners in a relaxed, friendly environment. And you don't need to be perfect. They're learning too, so everyone's helping each other.
Another one I really love is ELSA Speak. It's an app that helps you improve your pronunciation by using AI. You speak into your phone, and it gives you feedback on how close you are to a native accent.
That's a great one, especially for learners who want to work on their pronunciation privately before speaking with others. I also recommend YouTube channels that offer shadowing practice, like Speak English with Mr. Duncan or English with Lucy.
And let's not forget voice recorder apps. Your phone already has one. You can use it to practice short monologues, daily speaking routines, or record answers to common conversation questions.
The key is this: find tools that you actually enjoy using. Whether it's an app, a YouTube video, or just your voice recorder, make it part of your daily habit.
Exactly. No fancy tools needed, just your voice, a little time, and the willingness to speak. Coming up next, we'll give you a fun challenge to help you take action and start speaking today. Okay, listeners, now it's your turn. We've talked about the importance of speaking, and now we've got a simple challenge for you.
We call it the 5-Minute Speaking Challenge. Here's how it works. Every day, speak English out loud for just 5 minutes. That's it.
5 minutes may not sound like much, but if you do it consistently, every single day, you will build fluency, confidence, and natural flow faster than you think.
You can talk about anything. What you did today, your plans for tomorrow, how you feel, what you see around you, anything at all.
Here are a few ideas to get started. Describe your morning routine. Talk about your favorite movie, pretend you're giving a weather report, or answer a simple question like, "What's your dream vacation?"
You can do this in front of a mirror, record yourself, or even talk while walking. The goal is to make speaking English a daily habit, just like brushing your teeth.
And don't worry about mistakes. Remember, this is your space to grow. No pressure, no judgment, just you practicing your English voice.
So are you ready to accept the challenge? Start today. Set a timer for 5 minutes. And speak. You've got this.
Coming up next, we'll share a few final tips and motivation to keep you going strong. Don't go anywhere. All right, before we wrap up, let's talk about something really important: your mindset. Because learning to speak English isn't just about practice, it's also about how you think about your progress.
Absolutely. One of the biggest obstacles learners face is fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of sounding silly, or fear of not being good enough. But here's the truth. Mistakes are not failures. They're proof that you're trying and learning.
Exactly. Every mistake is a step forward. When you speak, you're building your skills, even if it doesn't feel perfect right away. The key is to keep going, even when it feels hard.
And remember, fluency is a journey, not a destination. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. Celebrate the small wins. Every new sentence you say is progress.
Also, don't compare your English to others. Everyone learns at their own pace. Focus on your own growth and keep speaking. That's what really matters.
That's right. And if you stay consistent with your speaking practice, your confidence will grow naturally. Soon, you'll surprise yourself with how much you can say.
So keep that positive mindset, be kind to yourself, and remember, the most important thing is to use your English, not just know it.
You've got this. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and never give up. We believe in you.
Thanks for listening today. Up next, we'll do a quick recap and share a sneak peek of our next episode. All right, let's quickly recap today's main message. Stop memorizing and start speaking. Use the words you already know, speak every day, and don't be afraid of mistakes.
That's right. Speaking regularly is the fastest way to build your confidence and fluency. Remember our 5-minute speaking challenge. Start today.
Thanks so much for joining us on the English Learning Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share it with your friends, and leave a review.
And don't forget to follow us on social media for more tips and updates. We'll see you next time.
Happy speaking, everyone!